I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. Donald Trump just got hit with a powerful consent bond order in connection with the criminal case, the RICO criminal case brought in Fulton County. It is signed by Judge McAfee, the judge presiding over that matter. It calls for $200,000 in bond. I'll discuss how that's broken down. And it also has very strict provisions about Donald Trump engaging in further harassment, either direct or indirect, or intimidation of victims, witnesses, co-defendants, the community. And it specifically references in this consent bond order Donald Trump's social media behavior, making it a violation of this consent order, meaning Donald Trump could be remanded to jail or to prison thereafter immediately if he violates this consent bond order by directly or indirectly threatening, intimidating, or harassing witnesses, victims, co-defendants, the community at large, which would consist of the judge, the Fulton County District Attorney, the community being Fulton County. You know how Donald Trump likes to threaten and harass like the overall city, how he talks about Atlanta in disparaging ways. That would be covered by this as well. So pull up the consent bond order for defendant Donald J. Trump. And here's what it says. This was entered on August 21st, 2023. The above captioned matter having come before the court for consideration of bond and with consent of counsel for the state of Georgia and for the defendant Donald Trump, the court hereby grants and orders that bond is set in this matter as follows. So that just means everybody stipulated to this, including Donald Trump through his lawyers. And so this is a binding agreement. Think about it like a binding contract. So the court hereby grants and orders that bond is set in this matter as follows. Bond amount. For count 1, violations of the RICO Act, $80,000. For count 5, criminal solicitation, $10,000. For counts 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19, all criminal conspiracy counts, $10,000 respectively. To go to count 27, filing false documents, $10,000. Count 28, criminal solicitation, $10,000. Count 29, false statements, $10,000. Count 38, criminal solicitation, $10,000. And count 39, false statements, $10,000, for a total of $200,000 in bond that Donald Trump must pay. It then says the defendant shall appear, defendant Donald Trump shall appear in court as directed by the court. So Donald Trump will have to show up every time Judge Scott McAfee requests that he be present, including, of course, at trial, the same way Donald Trump refused to be at trial in the civil case brought by E. Jean Carroll, where Donald Trump was found to be a sexual abuser and committing defamation and owed E. Jean Carroll $5 million. But I digress. Number 4, the defendant Donald Trump shall perform no act to intimidate any person known to him or to her to be a co-defendant or witness in this case, or to otherwise obstruct the administration of justice. This shall include, but is not limited to, the following. So then it lists what would constitute an act that would be viewed as intimidating a person known to Trump to be either a co-defendant or witness or otherwise obstruct the administration of justice. A, defendant Donald Trump shall make no direct or indirect threat of any nature against any co-defendant. The defendant Donald Trump shall make no direct or indirect threat of any nature against any witness, including, but not limited to, the individuals designated in the indictment as unindicted co-conspirators, individual 1 through individual 30. C, the defendant shall make no direct or indirect threat of any nature against any victim. D, the defendant shall make no direct or indirect threat of any nature against the community or to any property in the community. I think that refers to the community of Atlanta, the community Fulton County, the property being the courthouse, the property being the judicial administration. And then E, the above shall include, but are not limited to, posts on social media or reposts of posts made by another individual on social media. Again, that is directly addressing Donald Trump's conduct, where he tries to hide behind his reposts on his social media platform, where someone else who is a proxy of his posts these heinous and despicable things about Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, about witnesses like former Vice President Mike Pence, about others involved in the action, about Atlanta in general, about the Atlanta court system, about the DA's office. So Donald Trump reposting another individual attacking any part, the judge, the witnesses, the victims, will be subject to a violation of the consent order, and Donald Trump would be remanded to the Fulton County Jail immediately. And then the fifth condition here is that the defendant Donald Trump shall not communicate in any way directly or indirectly about the facts of this case with any person known to him to be a co-defendant in this case, except through his or her counsel. That condition number 5 has been a condition we've seen in the cases brought by special counsel Jack Smith that have been ordered by the magistrate judge both in the Southern District of Florida as well as the magistrate judge in Washington, D.C. But these additional terms specifically addressing Donald Trump's social media posts and reposts is one of the strongest terms yet we've seen in the bond conditions that have been imposed on Donald Trump. And then this addition of this $200,000 bond amount, where in the past, in the special counsel Jack Smith cases, we haven't really seen any amount of money at all as it relates to Donald Trump. So it's fair to say that this consent bond order for defendant Donald J. Trump has the most teeth of any consent and bond orders that we have seen. And Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis will not hesitate for a moment if Donald Trump engages in violations of this consent bond order to go to Judge Scott McAfee, who signed and entered this order, to bring to the judge's attention the conduct by Donald Trump. I guess my initial observation among many is there's no way Donald Trump is going to be able to follow these terms. And the question really to me is not if Donald Trump violates this, but when will Donald Trump violate it? And then what will the repercussions look like? And will there be repercussions? And I believe in Fulton County, there absolutely will be repercussions there. Should be noted as well that we've been seeing consent bond orders as it relates to other co-defendants of Donald Trump being entered throughout the day as well. Donald Trump's co-defendant John Eastman, for example, we saw the consent bond order with similar terms, not so much the emphasis on the social media habits per se, but $100,000 bond for John Eastman there. And we will continue to see these consent and bond orders for the other a total of 19 defendants in this action, one after another. The final details of Trump's surrender are still being negotiated, but as we've reported before, the Fulton County Sheriff has stated that he is going to take a mugshot of Donald Trump, and Trump will be booked like any other criminal defendant that goes through and gets processed in the Fulton County jail system. So there you have it, folks, a very strong consent bond order that was just issued for defendant Donald J. Trump. Defendant Donald J. Trump. Make sure you go to MeidasTouch.com to stay on top of all the breaking news. That's MeidasTouch.com. And also, wherever you get audio podcasts, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast. Have a great day. Hit subscribe on our YouTube channel and check us out at MeidasTouch.com.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.